It's the recap for Sunday, October 27th, 2024. I'm Daniel Montoya Jr. for General Effect Media, and we have such a jam-packed episode that we're skipping through all the commercials and we're getting right to it. And we first start off in Duncanville, Texas for the 30th annual Duncanville Marching Invitational, where we predicted that Hebron would run away with the title. And guess what? We were right. So far, we are 1 for 1. And if we dig into the recap right now, Hebron pretty much took all major captions and sub-captions with the exception of Music Brass Achievement. Now, they were first in content and first overall, but in achievement, Judge Wayne Downey put Rockwall High School in first. Now, they were third overall in music and sixth overall in placement, but Wayne thought in achievement, Rockwall was the group. Looking at finals, basically Hebron only missed that one sub-caption. And if we go in order, we had Hebron in first, Wiley in second, Waxahachie was in fourth, Keller was in third, Southlake Carroll brings out the top five, and then we start getting into a whole lot of other Texas band goodness. Now, this was primarily a 6A marching contest, almost a preview of what Area B and Area C will look like next week in the DFW area for Class 6A. However, there were two 4As that participated. Only one decided to perform in finals, and then Lake Travis, Texas, all the way from the Austin, Texas area, did perform, and they chose to perform first in finals due to homecoming schedule conflicts. But it's going to be really exciting next week as we see what bands from Area B, Area C, and everybody else in DFW advances to state marching contest, which we're going to talk about more in just a little bit. But we are going to move up to the state of Indiana for ISSMA Open Semi-State. Now, we had to have a little clarification last week, and thanks to them again, we got a little bit more clarification about the circuits. Now, last week I mentioned that there was a festival classification where bands perform against a rubric, not against each other, and they earn a rating. I was correct. There is also a middle track between festival and open called Scholastic Class, which is for smaller bands to develop in a sort of hybrid classification. It allows for the school with fewer resources to have an avenue to experience a certain level of success instead of constantly having to compete with national powerhouses such as Avon and Carmel. The Scholastic Class has shorter limits on showtime and a restriction on a number of performers, and ideally a band could move from festival to Scholastic to then open over several years. Now, if we look at the ISSMA Open A semi-state results, and we look at the bands that advanced to state, we have Brownsburg, we have Avon, we have Carmel, we have Noblesville, we have Fishers, we have Floyd Central, Goshen, Homestead, and Castle. If you're keeping track at home, we did not mention Center Grove. We did not mention Lawrence Township. These are perennial Indiana state bands. Just goes to show you just how hard band is when you are in states like Indiana, when you're in Texas, when just the 10th, the smallest of 10th, any given Saturday, the performance dynamics, all those things, little cracks allow another band to jump up, and that's what we had. Now, if we look at the recap of the ISSMA Open A Semi-State Championship here, Avon did take first place, and they took a majority of the captions and sub-captions. However, Carmel High School took first in music individual performance, therefore taking all of music individual. And then you go to music effect in performance, where they took first in a sub-caption. And then you go all the way to visual performance in the performance of that, and they took first. So they took first in 4 sub-captions. The rest, -1, went to Avon High School, and you jump all the way to Castle High School. And I say jump because according to the recap that I have in front of me, you have Avon and Carmel pretty close up top, and then all the way at the bottom you have Castle. I think it's just a performance order thing. Castle did take first in the sub-caption of visual individual performance. So if we look at our rankings here, Avon was in first place. They advanced to state. Carmel was in second. Castle was in third. Homestead was in fourth. Brownsburg was in fifth. Fishers was in sixth. Noblesville was in seventh. Carroll was in eighth. Floyd Central was in ninth, and Goshen was in 10th. So there are our 10 groups that advance to state in the open A class of ISSMA. A lot of bands. And if you go down this whole recap, and we have so much to talk about, we're not going to be able to go through it. There are bands, like we mentioned earlier, LT and Center Grove, that advance to semis but won't be going to state. It's very similar down here in Texas, where you have bands that will advance to, I guess you could call it semifinals here as well, to make it to state. And they can't get out of the area, as we call it. And we'll explain a lot more later on in there. But it's a tough day. It's a tough day for band. It's a good day for band because that means a lot of bands are rising up. And like we said, powers of tenths, cracks, all that stuff. So shout out to the many people who sent me that recap for ISSMA this past weekend. Now we go to the state of Mississippi for the MBA MHSAA State Marching Band Championships for Class 6A. This was held at Pearl in Mississippi for this Mississippi Band Championship. And if we look at it, first place was your Fighting Olive Branch High School. They placed first, taking a majority of the captions and sub-captions. However, I'm going to mispronounce this. Pascagoula did take first in GE Visual Performance. They also took first in Visual Performance Achievement. They placed second overall. If you go to third place, where you have West Harrison, they took first in the GE Visual Rep Caption and took actually all of first place in GE Visual. They also took first in Visual Performance Content and the overall Visual Performance Caption. That was your top three. Olive Branch, Pascagoula High School, West Harrison was in third. We go now into fourth, which was Center Hill High School. Fifth was Saltillo High School. It's Saltillo. I want to say Saltillo, but that's the Texas in me. Lake Comoran was sixth place. Neshoba Central High School, was seventh. Hancock was eighth. Long Beach was ninth. Picayune Memorial was 10th. And South Panola High School was 11th. Those are your MBA MHSAA State Marching Band Championship Class 6A. Congratulations. So we have state championships taking place in certain states, and then we have semifinals taking place in certain states. And then here in Texas, you could say that this past weekend and next weekend will be quarterfinals for bands. We'll talk again a little bit more at the end. We're going to get real nerdy with UIL marching bands. So if that's not your jam, it will be at the end, so you can stop early. Now we return to the Southwest for the first ever state marching contest in the state of New Mexico. That is right. I guess up until this point, New Mexico didn't have an official state marching contest, but now they do. And these recaps are really small, and so your boy's got to take off his glasses. If we go to Class A-4A, which to me means any of the bands that compete in Class A to 4A, the four smaller classes, are all together in one classification. Your state champion in that class was Goddard High School in first. They took a majority of the captions and sub-captions. They did miss out on Music Performance Ensemble Rep in one of the judges that went to Los Alamos High School, who placed third. Lovington High School took Performance in one of the other captions and was first of the two judges, but overall music did go to Goddard. Then we go to General Effect, where it was just one judge. Los Alamos High School, who was in third place overall, took that caption. Lovington, who was second, also took second. And then Goddard, your champion, took third on there. So in that classification, there were only four bands listed. Goddard in first, Lovington in second, Los Alamos in third, and I believe Portales is fourth. It's a little fuzzy here on my recap. And then we move into Class 5A, which I'm assuming is the largest class in New Mexico, where Rio Rancho High School took first place. Again, taking a majority of the captions and sub-captions. V. Sue Cleveland took second, also taking Daniel Morrison's Music Performance Ensemble caption. Oregon Mountain High School took the other Music Performance Ensemble, C. Lee. They also were first overall in music, placing third overall, but they won Music Performance Ensemble. If we move over to just one or two tiny sub-captions, in Frank Miller's GE Performance, he did put V. Sue Cleveland in first. They were second overall. Colin McNutt put Oregon Mountain in Performance first place. They were third overall. And then we go back to V. Sue Cleveland, who the auxiliary judge C. Frick in Performance but VSU Cleveland in first. Overall, Rio Rancho in first, VSU Cleveland in second, Oregon Mountain in third, Clovis in fourth, La Cueva in fifth, and Hobbs, good old Hobbs High School, rounds out Class 5A in the first ever 2024 New Mexico State Marching Championship. Congratulations to the great state of New Mexico, Texas adjacent. Of all the states bordering Texas, New Mexico has to be my favorite. All right, we're jumping over Texas to the 42nd annual Paragould McDonald's Marching Invitational Award. Apologies to Ronald McDonald, who I did not mention was a part of the name, a namesake of this particular contest. Our grand champion was Arlington with an 89.35. This recap is incredibly complicated to me. I tried reading it and I thought I would look at some things. I can't do it. I'm sorry. There's a lot. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. Can you see? I might even put it on screen. That would be better. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But we did have a few notes on there. Arlington was first. Reverse Grand Champion. Who came up with that name? It's not Paragould. I've heard it for years. Second place was 89.28. Less. It was 0.07. It was so close. Third place, DeSoto Central from Mississippi. Fourth place, Marion. Fifth place, Lewisburg. Sixth place, GCT. Seventh was Horn Lake. Eighth, North Point. Ninth, Mountain Home. 10th, Brookland. 11, Hope, Arkansas, home of Bill Clinton. And 12th, Valley View High School. If I'm reading this correctly, the crowd favorite was Westview. And the Red Division Grand Champion was North Point Christian. The Blue Division Grand Champion was Arlington. Now, what's the difference between the Red Division and the Blue Division? I'm glad you asked. Our person who sent us notes. Here we go. 75 plus, the score, was a superior rating in this competition. All right. Let's see, Red Division Grand Champion, North Point. The Red Division runner-up was Valley View. The Blue Division Grand Champion in overall was Arlington. The Blue Division runner-up and overall runner-up was Cabot. I believe this is a band size thing. I know I promised that I would figure this out for you. I do believe that it's a band size. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. I imagine that that's the way it is. That's the way it is. That Red Division might be the smaller bands and Blue Division might be the larger bands. I could be wrong. It could not be band size. It could be maybe competitive like A-class, open class, world class. I'm not really certain. It could be school size. Different states do it very differently. So correct me in the comment section down below so that you keep us right here at General Effect Media in the recap. We now go west-ish from Arkansas to St. Louis, Missouri for the Bands of America St. Louis Super Regional, where for the first time at St. Louis, Blue Springs High School beat Broken Arrow High School. Now, they have beaten Broken Arrow before at Grand Nationals, and they have won BOA St. Louis before, so I guess there is some sort of history there to all of that. Now, we predicted the top three overall was going to come down to the Killer Bees of Bentonville, Blue Springs, and Broken Arrow, and we were right. We also predicted Broken Arrow was not going to win. We were right. We did not predict that Blue Springs was going to win, so we were wrong. 2 out of 3, 66%.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bartlett for General Effect Media, and this weekend I was at the BOA St. Louis Super Regional. Just to start this off, this is a big Super Regional. I mean, for St. Louis, this was huge, 71 bands in attendance. That's more than we usually get. We usually struggle to get about, even the 64, you need to have 2 panels. It was awesome. I'm the baby, so my last time here was 2017, which for many people is like, wait, wasn't that yesterday? So that was the last time I was at St. Louis as a student. I want to use 2019 though as kind of a metric to show you how much this has changed in just 5 years. So I have a little bit of notes here and we read off of them. Just think about some of these things for a little bit. Within 5 years, yes, we had a global pandemic in between, but this is still a lot of change. For context, 2019 also had a pretty stacked year. There were 69 bands in attendance. That doesn't seem like a lot for people who are used to Texas contests, but it's a lot. It's a big contest. You saw most of the same competing bands. Broken Arrow, Blue Springs, Bentonville, Union, O'Fallon Township. We also had more than triple the Texas bands, which is important. Think about that. If you caught my comment at TMC, that's what I'm talking about. There were almost as many Texas bands in finals here as there were at San Antonio Super Regional that year. And only one of them was the same band. In 2019, the lowest scoring band in finals was Bentonville. This year they were third. In 2019, Broken Arrow was the clear winner. They'd only ever lost St. Louis once before in a year they'd attended, and that was 2006 to Carmel. They lost this year, only taking the music caption. Blue Springs easily got that visual and that GE caption. It was pretty close. Both had a 92, really a difference of about 0.2 points. McNeil from Texas, top half. They were fourth place. They beat O'Fallon, who was fifth place. Surprisingly, the only band in this list who actually got the same placement as they did 5 years ago. Green Valley came back into finals to replace my alma mater, Camdenton, who wasn't really a mainstay. I mean, they were there in 17 and 19, at the time, 2019, tying South Lake Carroll for 9th, 10th place. They were decidedly out of finals, 7th place finish in class. The only two 2A bands to make finals, Morton, who won, and Green Valley, who got second. Think about this incredibly stacked 2A field, most of them weren't even in finals. That's just because all of the bands have gotten so much more intense. It was a great contest. Will we see any more crazy changes in another 5 years? I'm Hattie Bartlett for Jim. Thank you very much.
So it will be exciting to see what happens to a band like Broken Arrow after this. And I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form. This was the end for Blue Springs. They will not be going to Grand Nationals. So Broken Arrow still has a few more weeks of stuff to take care of and get to before they make their way up to Indianapolis, Indiana for the Grand National Championships. But nonetheless, if you are a fan of brackets, like the marching band playoff bracket, I can already tell you there's been a lot of shuffling. So be sure to check out on Wednesday what the latest marching band playoff bracket presented by General Effect Media looks like. It's a hoot. I can tell you that for sure.
Myself and Grace Hulula, our newest GEM contributor, went out to the BOA Orlando Regional at Camping World Stadium this weekend. A whole lot of performances by a whole lot of fantastic groups, but we only have time to highlight a few. First of all, let's talk about Vista Marietta High School out of California. They had a fantastic performance and a very, very well-earned second place, and I would not be surprised to see them making a Grand National Finals push in the next few years. Additionally, on the subject of Grand National Finals pushes, Stoneman Douglas is doing fantastic this season. They are coming back to Indy in just a few weeks, and so I would not be surprised to see them in that grouping, making that push for one of the lower finals slots. We'll see how much they can get cleaned over the next couple weeks, but keep them on your radar. The talk of the town, though, is absolutely Tarpon Springs. A fantastic program, and they've been through a lot of adversity this year, dealing with multiple hurricanes, dealing with some significant weather challenges beyond that have really affected their rehearsal time. Even so, they're putting on one of the best products I've seen from them in years. Their music just sounds wonderful, and their visual is top-notch as always. Do not be surprised to see them in the Grand National Championship conversations.
And now the rest of this episode of the recap is going to be very Texas-centric. We're going to be focused on the UIL 3A and 5A area marching contest that took place this weekend. So if this is not your jam, like, subscribe, notification bell. We'll see you at the Marching Band Playoff on Wednesday and This Weekend in Band next Friday. Now, a quick primer for this. In the state of Texas, we are divided into multiple regions. And then from those regions, they make up areas, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, maybe H, I, J, depending. From those areas, they send representatives to the state marching contest, one band for every 5 bands that get a 1 at region. That's how it goes at area. Now, based on, if you want to call it a circuit, you want to call it all this, if you have state finals, you have state prelims, you have area finals, you have area prelims, you have region. So we have 5 different rounds to get to state marching contest. All these bands that competed on Saturday for the chance to go to state already completed round 1, which was region. They completed round 1. Round 2 is competing in area prelims. Then from there, depending on how many bands competed, they take the top 10 or top 7 into area finals for round 3. This was round 3 for class 3A and 5A. Next Saturday will be round 2 and 3 for class 4A and 6A, maybe even 2A. Does that make sense? All right, let's do our best. If you know about Texas, this is not a shock to you. This is not a surprise. You're probably going, yeah, I know this. If you are from Texas, hopefully you kind of get this idea. We're going to start off with Area A, which if you look at the great state of Texas is pretty much around here. It is West Texas, El Paso, and like Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, Panhandle type bands. Class 5A is the second largest class in the state of Texas. It's all about school size, and surprise, surprise, it's all about football. Now, they took 10 bands to finals. J.M. Hanks was your winner of Area A in Class 5A. They advanced to state. Lubbock Cooper placed second, advancing. Lubbock High School placed third, and El Dorado High School from El Paso placed fourth. If you're wondering context, if you may not have heard some of these bands, and that's okay, J.M. Hanks is a perennial state qualifier from the city of El Paso in Class A. Last year, because now we are going into state competition every year, because before a while it was every other year, it's a whole nother video, but every year state now. Last year they placed 28th in state prelims. That would be round 4. They did not advance to round 5. Lubbock Cooper placed 19th in round 4. Lubbock High School placed 35th in state prelims. And El Dorado, who placed 4th at this area state or area marching band contest to advance, they advanced to state for the very first time in the school's history. Congratulations to those 4 groups. In the interest of fairness, I did write the music for J.M. Hanks and El Dorado, but I'm mentioning everybody, so it's not that bit of a conflict of interest. Now, if we go to Class B, now this was held in Melissa, Texas, which is closer to the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. They also took 10 bands to finals in Class 5A. Your champion of Area B was Wakeland High School. We've mentioned that name before. Wakeland placed third last year at the state marching contest. Lone Star got second. They placed 7th at last year's state marching contest. McKinney North got third. They placed 16th at last year's state marching contest. And Argyle High School placed 4th at this particular area. For the first time in Class 5A, they have advanced to the state marching contest. If you know anything about Argyle, they are a multiple, consistent, perennial state champion in Class 3A/4A, depending on the years and when we changed classifications. But Argyle, this is their 3rd year in 5A, jumping into the big boy pool of 5A marching band. Congratulations to all of these bands. Dallas-Fort Worth is crazy. They could probably have 4 completely different areas and be okay. Speaking of other areas in Dallas-Fort Worth, 5A Area C, Mesquite, Texas, which is still, I think it's more of the Dallas area, maybe the southeast Dallas, if I'm remembering correctly. They took 10 to finals. North Mesquite High School took first in this area. They were 26th last year. Poteet took second. They were 17th last year. Mount Pleasant High School out of Texas took third. I cannot find a record of their placement last year, so maybe they did not make it to state last year. Or if they did, it was not in 5A. And Lakeview Centennial was 4th place, advancing to state. I did not find a record, so perhaps it's their first time, or they did not advance last year, or it was a different class. So congratulations to those 4 bands. 4, 8, 12 so far bands will be in San Antonio, Texas in a little more than a week. Yeah, for state marching contest. We are at the Pflugerville Field. It's Pflugerville, but yeah, Pflugerville Field in Pflugerville, Texas, which is a suburb north of Austin for the 5A Area D marching band contest, where Hendrickson High School was the champion. They were 12th at state last year. Piper High School was second. They were 27th last year at state. Smithson Valley took third. They were 20th last year. Lake Belton High School placed 24th last year. They were 4th this year at area. And Lhasa High School, the Language Arithmetic School of the Arts, they placed 5th at this contest. I do not have a record of them advancing to state last year. This might be the first time they've advanced, or they advanced in a different classification. Congratulations to those 5 bands. Those 5 bands advanced to state marching contest from that area. Area E, which was held in Channelview, which is a suburb of Houston. All right, suburb of Houston. They took 12 to finals, which means they had a healthier number of groups get a 1 and advance to area prelims. Friendswood High School took first. They are 9th last year at state, and they are heading to BOA Grand Nationals this year. College Station was 2nd place. They were 29th last year. Barbers Hill was 3rd. Do not have a record of them attending state last year, so maybe the first time or just first time in a while. A&M Consolidated High School placed 4th. They were 21st last year at state. Kempner placed 5th. do not have a record of them at state last year. And Angleton High School, where the heart is, 6th place, advancing to state. It's been a while, if not ever, that Angleton High School has advanced to the state marching contest. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. I believe the last time Angleton High School made it to state, they were a military marching band. Right now that we're corps style, however you want to describe it. And they changed like in the late 90s, early 2000s. So it has been a bit of time, if I'm correct, that Angleton has advanced to state marching contest. Congratulations to them. We're still in 5A area. Woo! We are in Area F now, which was in Birdville, Texas, which is a Dallas-Fort Worth suburb. I was just saying I wish we had 3 areas. There's probably 3 or 4. I was just completely mistaken. Area F, where Aledo High School unanimously took 1st place. They were 13th place last year at state marching contest. Midlothian placed 2nd. Can't find a record for them last year. Colleyville Heritage placed 3rd. Can't find a record for them. Centennial High School placed 4th. Can't find a record. Richland placed 5th. They advanced to state marching contest. If I say I can't find a record, that means a number of things. Number one, they did not compete in 5A at state marching contest last year, whether they did not advance or they were in a different classification or what, because things can change every 2 years, because if your school gets bigger, your school gets smaller, UIL adjusts you. So congratulations to those groups as we move into UIL 5A Area G, which was held in Mercedes, Texas. Area G is basically down here near Mexico. It's the Laredo Valley, all of this. Roma High School took 1st place. They were 8th last year at state marching contest. Pioneer High School took 2nd. They were 25th last year. The Lopez Early College High School took 3rd. They were 33rd last year. Sherryland took 4th. They were 30th last year at state. And Rio Grande City took 5th. I cannot find a record of them at state, whether they were there or not, in a different class, first time, all that. Do not have a placement for them last year. So congratulations to all those groups. At Area G, is this the last one? It is. Woo! We get to Area H marching contest, which takes place in Cedar Park, Texas, which is a further northern west suburb of Austin. Reminder that Pflugerville, Round Rock, Cedar Park, Leander, Liberty Hill, Hutto are not Austin. They're not Austin. You can't say you're from Austin. If you don't have an Austin emailing address or mailing address, you're not from Austin. However, McNeil High School's in Round Rock. Westwood's in Round Rock ISD, but they're in Austin. Vandergrift's in Leander, but they're in Austin. Anyway, it's not the school district, it's the city. Area H marching contest held at Gupton Stadium, Cedar Park, Texas. Basically a home contest for Leander marching bands. And guess what? 4 Leander marching bands advanced to state marching contest, the 5As. Cedar Park took 1st at this area. Last year, they were 1st place at state marching contest. In fact, I think they've won 3 or 4 state marching contests in a row. Will they win this one? Probably. Rouse High School took 2nd at this area, and they were 2nd last year at state marching contest. Leander High School got 3rd at this area. They were 4th last year at state marching contest. Glenn High School takes 4th. They advanced to area for the first time, I believe, in a few years, so congratulations to them. And Liberty Hill High School, rounding out the top 5, they were 23rd last year at state marching contest. Congratulations to all of those bands. Wow. And if you were listening, I did in fact make a prediction already for Area 5A, or rather Class 5A marching band shot. I think Cedar Park is your champion. It's going to come down to Cedar Park, Wakeland, and Rouse. That's your top 3, as far as I'm concerned. But we'll make a more clear prediction as we get closer to that. We jump down in classes to Class 3A. 3A are smaller programs than 4A, which are smaller than 5, which are smaller than 6. Now, if you're new to this isn't based on band size. This is based on school size, classes 10, 11, and 12, because not all high schools have 9th grade here. They just count 10 through 12, and that's how they figure out what class. So you could have the biggest band in the world and be 3A. You can have the smallest band in the world and be 6A. So fair, unfair, however you want to look at it. Class A, which was in Lubbock, Texas, which is the Panhandle up there, Lubbock, basically Oklahoma. Clyde High School was 1st. They were 14th last year. Crane High School was 2nd. They were 10th last year. And the Texas Leadership Charter Academy High School placed 3rd at this area. They were 23rd place last year. Canadian High School. a Canadian high school in Texas. They placed 4th, advancing to state. They were not in Class 3A last year, so I did not see what place they got. Whether it's their first time, whether they were in a different class, I'm not sure, but congratulations to those Canadians and everybody else. Area B took place in Denton, Texas, which is a far north suburb of Dallas, at C.H. Collins. Whitesboro High School, who is your defending state champion. They were first at this area. They were first last year. Howe was in second, Howe. They were 7th last year at state. And Holiday High School with 2 L's. 3rd place, they were 4th at state marching contest last year. Whitesboro looking to repeat again. Not sure how many they have won, how many they've won in a row, but good for them. We go to Area C, which took place in White House, Texas. And based on where these groups are from, it's a Dallas-Fort Worth suburb. I think it's a Fort Worth suburb. Mineola, 2nd place last year at state, 1st place here at area. Redwater, they were 2nd this year at area, 6th place last year. Atlanta High School, that's right, Texas has a lot of cities that are named after other cities, states, countries, etc. Atlanta High School, they were 3rd at this contest. They were 3rd last year at state. Commerce High School, 4th at this contest, 15th last year at state. Winsboro, you heard us talking about Winsboro at the Battle of the Spear. They were 5th place here at area, 8th place last year at state. And Queen City High School, 6th place at this area contest, 12th place overall last year, state marching contest. 3A Area D took place at Robinson, Texas, which is outside of Waco, which is not a suburb of Austin. Waco is basically halfway between DFW and Austin. CHO, 1st place this area, 5th place overall last year. Hitchcock, 2nd place at this area, 17th place last year. Clifton High School, 3rd place. They were 9th last year. Troy High School finished 4th. They were 13th place last year. Industrial High School finished 5th. They were 16th place last year at the state marching contest. And again, in the interest of full transparency, I did write the music for Troy High School. So congratulations to Troy and all the other groups performing in that area. And we stop at Area E. There are less 3A bands than there are 5As and 6As. We are at the A.C. Jones High School Veterans Memorial Stadium in Beeville, Texas. This is down here-ish. It's not the Valley, it's not San Antonio, but it's in a large area that's around San Antonio and the Valley, possibly a little Corpus area. Anyway, Raymondville took 1st place at this competition. I can't find a record for them last year at state. Were they in a different class? Did they not advance to state? Orange Grove was in 2nd. I also cannot find if they participated in this class's state marching contest last year. Perhaps they moved up or perhaps they improved. Santa Gertrudis, they were 3rd this year at area. Last year they were 19th at state marching contest. Lytle High School places 4th. Can't find a record of them at 3A last year. And then Hondo High School, the Hondo Owls, they are 5th place. They advanced to state. Last year, they were 18th at the state marching band contest held in San Antonio, Texas. And a quick wrap up of how this is going to work. Now, here in Texas, since we have moved to every year state marching contest, not this coming week, not starting tomorrow, but next week, you will have 1A, 3A, 5A state marching contest. That weekend before, you have qualifies for 2A, 4A, 6A to go to state. We have 2 weeks of state marching contest. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This year, it's 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. Next year, they flip it so that 2, 4, 6 goes first, 1, 3, 5 goes second. So they do this. Every year, it's going to switch so that everyone gets a chance to get 1 extra week or everyone's forced to get 1 extra week. So again, Class 3A and 5A have completed region, area prelims, area finals. They've completed 3 of the 5 rounds. Then we have state qualifying or state prelims, and then we have state finals. So 2 more rounds to go. 2A, 4A, 6A have only completed round 1. Region, we still have area prelims, area finals, state prelims, state finals. And that's not even counting if you go to BOA San Antonio, which is 2 rounds if you make it. And then if you are a band going to Grand Nationals, potentially 3 rounds. So if you are a band that is going to state marching contest and Grand Nationals and BOA San Antonio, let's count this. You just did 2 shows on Saturday. That's area, right? Area prelims, area finals. That's your 2. Then you're going to go to BOA San Antonio. That's at least the 3rd show. Let's just say you're good enough to make the 4th, the night show. That's 4 shows. Then you have 2 rounds of state marching contests. That's 6 shows. And then you go to Grand Nationals, and let's say you're good enough to make finals. 9 performances potentially from yesterday, Saturday, all the way to what, the 14th, 15th, 16th, whenever Grand Nationals Saturday is. 9, 10 if you win. You get to do an encore. 9. Now, how many bands could that be in the state of Texas? That could be your Leander High School, because they are going to 5A state. They are going to Grand Nationals. I believe they're going to San Antonio. Is Friendswood going to BOA San Antonio? I'm not sure. But if you're local to San Antonio, you're kind of Austin, San Antonio-ish, it's not that big of a deal financially. It's still a big deal. But regardless, if you are a band in 5A or 6A that is good enough to make the state marching contest and finals, BOA San Antonio and finals, Grand National Finals, 9 performances in total from area. If you count region, that's 10. 10 performances. Region, area prelims, area finals, state finals, BOA San Antonio finals, Grand National prelims, Grand National semis, Grand Nationals finals. That's 10. And we're not even counting other shows that they've attended, BOAs, local contests, etc. Wow, it's a whole lot of band. A whole lot of fun. All right, that's it. We will be back on Wednesday for the Marching Band Playoff Bracket. We'll be back on Friday for This Weekend in Band. We'll be back on Sunday for the recap. And then I don't know how we're going to handle these next 2 weeks, because we have shows on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, we might just upload at random spots. But we have one more week of normal business. And then it's a whole lot of recording going on. So for sure, we will catch you on Wednesday for the Marching Band Playoff Bracket. Good band to all.